Hi, it's Randy. So, for any of you who actually might be thinking, might be contemplating actually getting out there and trying to date, trying to meet new people, and you're going to meet new people on dating sites because, of course, there really isn't any other way for you to meet people, especially if you're over 40, because if you don't work with a bunch of single guys and you don't start up conversations with strangers at the grocery store or take golf lessons, it might be kind of hard. And time's a ticking, so you might as well try the dating site. You got boundaries already, you know the red flags, and you're bored as hell. So let's say you're gonna bite the bullet and actually make your profile. Let's say you start some conversations, you get some messages, and you decide to meet somebody. Not one person, but a lot of different people, right? Because you're not ready for a relationship, but you are ready to start meeting people. Okay, you know how to talk, you know how to get ready, you know how to meet somebody in a public place, shake hands, and start up a conversation. That's really about all there is to it. It's not romance, it's not fantasy, it's not we're in love, it's not I owe you something because you paid, or you owe me something because you said you'd call or you said you'd message at a certain time and you didn't do it, okay? No, nobody owes anybody anything. We're here to meet in person and start seeing if we click, see if we like each other, see if we lied to each other on our profiles. There's no expectations at all. Okay, now when you get to the part where, you know, you're finding out, I'm not really attracted to this guy, or this guy's dumb, or this guy's boring, or we really don't have much to talk about, or he seems to have a lot of problems, or God, he doesn't have any confidence in himself. What the hell happened to him? Or he's bitching about his ex and his child support all night, or all these tragedies just happened to him, or he's about to have surgery and he's going to be laid up, or he's just lost his job, or all sorts of things. You'll find out. You'll find out during the first half hour, because that's what happens during conversation. So you find these things out, you see them, you see how, you know, you start to imagine, you know, is there anything here that I like, you know, could I possibly be attracted to this person? Could there be anything, could I see anything developing with this person? Okay, so let's say you decide, no, absolutely not, okay? So you don't have to be mean unless, you know, unless they're scary and they're like a real loser. You know, you can pack up your stuff and just say you gotta go. I would definitely advise against going on any kind of a planned activity that has a time frame to it. Like, I wouldn't go bowling because then I'm stuck there having to, you know, bowl the 3 games or even finish a game. What if I don't want to? I can't leave. I wouldn't want to go kayaking because then I'm out stuck in a kayak when I want to leave and I can't. I wouldn't get cornered any place for a specific amount of time, for sure. Not a long, like even a movie, you're stuck in the movie until the movie ends, and plus you don't talk in a movie, so that's the worst possible first date I could ever think of. Not a concert, because again, you're stuck there. Someplace that's time limited, and it's gonna be between like 1 to 3 hours or so, as a natural progression of the type of thing that you're doing. That's why going out to eat is good, because you know, usually it takes an hour, and if you wanted to drag it out to 3, you could, if you want to. Other kinds of activities where you're putting a lot of effort in, like biking, and now you got to haul your bike somewhere, and then, you know, you're navigating traffic, you're doing these physical things, you're not really going to be able to focus on the other person and find out about them. You're focusing on the activity more than you are the person. Activities are things that you do after you've decided that you're actually dating. The first date is not even a date. It is a meeting where you decide if you want to date again. And if you want to see them for a second time, it's still not even dating. I mean, dating is something that's ongoing. Going on 2 or 3 dates is something that's still extremely tentative. Nothing's established yet, okay? There's nothing necessarily established at all. So I would say most of you are going to know, you know, that you don't want to see the guy again after the first meeting. But then, what do you do? What do you do if he wants to see you again? I've pretty much mastered the best way to convey that message. Now, when you get put on the spot, so let's say, for example, you know you don't want to see the guy again, but you're still on this first meeting, and he's really, you know, interested in you, you're not feeling it, and before you leave, he starts talking about what this next date is going to be, and, you know, do you want to do this again, or next time we can go here or there. He starts kind of like talking about future, something in the future, and are you going to want to see me, or can we do this again? So it puts you on the spot, because you know in your heart that you're not going to do it again, but they ask you point blank, and it's very uncomfortable. So at that point, what I do is I usually just kind of smile and just say, yeah, maybe, like super casual, like maybe, yeah, you know, like, oh my God, no commitment, you know, or, you know, yeah, that's possible, or I'll just kind of give them a look like, we'll see, you know, or I'll say, I don't know, you know, I don't know that yet. Okay, so that's kind of the truth, right? It is the truth. I don't know, or I'm not sure, or maybe, right? Maybe. So that works. So definitely use that when you're put on the spot about whether you want to see this guy again, because when they ask you right up on that first time if you want to do this again, they usually follow through with that. That means they want to. You know, they're not future faking at that point. You know, they're probably they're gonna be calling you again quickly and trying to set something up. And you know, that's awesome if you like them, but if you don't, then again, you're put on the spot quite quickly to try to make a decision, and so you're definitely not going to say yes unless you mean yes. And a lot of times, you might think you mean yes, and you get home and you change your mind to no. So it's much better to just be kind of vague, like maybe, okay? And then when they will text you or call you and ask you if you want to do something again, and when are we, you know, can we do this, or can you do this, or do you want to see me again, or whatever. They'll text you the next day, or usually, usually within 24 hours, they're already asking, when is the next time we're going to go out? The best response is to just text back and say, I did have a nice time, but we're just not a match. In those words, we are just not a match, okay? When you tell a guy that, it's kind of like the gentle way to let him down without being personal and saying, like, no, I don't like you, or you're ugly, you're boring, or whatever it was. Obviously, you can't say that stuff, but just to say we're not a match, it puts the responsibility on yourself too. It's not just you, it's me, just together we're good. I mean, separate we're fine, but together we're just not a match, It's ambiguous, it's neutral, it gets the point across, and it's not personal. Now, most guys can accept that response. Okay, she says we're not a match. Yeah, okay, I can kind of see it, or, and then they just let go and they say, okay, and then you're off the hook. You're good. And you just breathe that sigh of relief. Oh, cool, I'm done. I don't have to deal with this again. Next, right? So some of them, when you say we're just not a match, they kind of want to argue a little bit because they think that you are a match, right? They disagree. Or they think that you can't possibly know that at this point in time. It's too soon for you to know. Give them another chance. And they might press the issue. They might start asking more questions on texts like, well, why not? Or what is it that you didn't think matched with us? Like, they start kind of pressing you for some more details. It's like they're sitting there asking for you to get personal and hurt them. But you must resist and not give in to their requests for details about why you're not a match, because it will be hurtful no matter what. I mean, what are you going to say? You got a shitty job and there's no way I can see myself retiring with you, or, you're an alcoholic, or, I don't know, you got too much baggage, you're too busy with your kids, and, I don't really feel like dealing with kids. I mean, you're not going to say any of that stuff, although, all of that may be true. And it would make the guy feel bad because, there's nothing inherently wrong with whatever his job is, or there's nothing inherently wrong with the fact that he has kids, or anything necessarily wrong with him. It's just wrong for you. It's just not something that you personally are going to deal with. So it's best not to get into any kind of specifics. Just say, we're just not a match, and then repeat it. No, I'm sorry, we're just not a match, okay? And you might have to repeat that a couple of times until they get the idea. But it's the most uncomfortable part of dating for me is not like meeting them or talking to them or saying goodbye or anything. But the worst part is when they want to go on another date, or they want to see you a second time and you don't want to. Now, you can, if you want to say yes to the second time because you're not quite sure, you can say yes, but it will be harder. Each time you say yes to another date, it's harder and harder to do that we're not a match thing, or I don't know, maybe. So it's harder and harder to do that. So you really have to make some decisions pretty quickly, because they get in deep fast, more in their mind than, in anything that occurs in reality. So hopefully you get yourself out there, and I wanted to give you some of my pointers, things that have worked to decrease the level of, uncomfortability when you basically have to dump somebody. Thanks for listening.